I don't know if I'm taking crazy pills and I'm not aware of it. They're taking crazy pills in Washington, D.C.
Right.
Or maybe I feel sometimes I'm getting punked.
100%.
Like, all of America is punking me.
Yes.
Because of what's going on in politics. Like, maybe they're making the Truman Show 2, and I'm the dumb Truman guy walking around, because it just can't get any stranger and weirder what goes on there in Washington, D.C. as you put on I'm ready to get on my boat and come knock on the door at the end.
I think you're right. I think we're all the Truman Show, and Ed Harris is Donald Trump, and then that's just the way that went. No one else knows. He's the only one in the know.
The White House has until Friday to give over all of the records related to the telephone call with the Ukraine that Donald Trump made, where there was a quid pro quo, a crime that was committed between Donald Trump and, the Ukrainian president did commit it, but Donald Trump did, when he said, you have to give me dirt on my political opponent to help me win the 2020 presidential election, and I will give you the money that has already been authorized. Otherwise, you don't get the money.
Right.
Okay? That is basically what happened. All right, so Representative Elijah Cummings of Maryland, the chairman of the Oversight and Reform Committee, said the White House has so far completely ignored everything. Now, minutes later, after the threat of subpoena by Friday, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Representative Adam Schiff, who, by the way, I think is a really smart guy.
Right.
He went to Harvard Law School. He was a U.S. attorney out in California. They warned the Trump administration that any attempt to stonewall the House's request or intimidate witnesses would be construed as obstruction worthy of impeachment itself. Now, if you remember with Bill Clinton, okay, there was nothing illegal about getting a blowjob from Monica Lewinsky.
Right.
That is not why he almost lost the presidency by one vote. Remember, it was Al Gore saved him.
Right.
All right? The House impeached him, and the Senate was 50-50. Al Gore was the deciding vote because he was the vice president. He made it by one vote.
Right.
Okay? There was nothing illegal about getting a blowjob from Monica Lewinsky.
Right.
All right? Was he committing adultery? Yes.
Right.
Immoral? Yes. Illegal? No.
Right.
It's because he lied about his blowjob.
Right.
That caused him...
You can't lie.
You can't lie about the blowjob.
Right.
Okay?
If you're going to get one.
Right. Now, Donald Trump did something worse. There is a underlying crime. This is not a blowjob. This is having a foreign power help you to get elected to be president of the United States and basically bribing that foreign power to do so. That's a crime. Lying about that is a crime. Not giving over documents, that's obstruction of justice.
Right.
A crime.
Right.
Giuliani's going to have the same problem. Mike Pompeo, who now has come out and said he was on the telephone call, is also going to have the same problem. And now the onion starts to peel. And what did I say yesterday? As the onion peels, Republicans may not be so supportive. Right now, the core Republican demographic, the Republicans who go out and vote in the Republican primaries, your core Republican constituency, you're still supporting Donald Trump.
Right.
The Republicans who are not as active, the more independents, the more Rockefeller Republicans, those are your more moderate Republicans, who are more socially liberal, fiscally conservative Republicans. Your independents and certainly your Democrats, all in favor of impeachment. And I said, watch the onion as the onion peels. Senator Grassley, Republican today, he came out and he said that the whistleblower should be heard. There should be nothing that goes against the whistleblower, and he wants to hear what the whistleblower has to say before he passes judgment on anything. That is a Republican, ahead of one of the major Senate Republican, one of the heads of the committees, I forgot which one. It's going to happen. They're going to start peeling away. Now, Donald Trump, who says this is all a hoax, it's a lie. If it was all a hoax and a lie, he would not be overly concerned about it. He would say, I've got nothing to hide.
Right.
I'll give you everything you want.
Right.
I'm going to deal with being the president because I am the president of the United States, and I'm going to hold myself in that regard. And I'm going to be presidential, and you guys can be clowns in the Congress, but I know I did nothing wrong.
Right.
And therefore, I'm going to go about my day negotiating with Iran, China, and everybody else. But no, he's not doing that, Belgium Kim.
Right.
Okay? He's watching Nancy Pelosi and Adam Schiff in their press conference.
Right.
Okay? So responding in real time on Twitter.
Yeah.
Donald Trump, Nancy Pelosi, this is why I'm like, it's crazy time.
Yeah.
Okay? Nancy Pelosi and Adam Schiff are having a press conference. And Donald Trump is commenting on this press conference in real time on Twitter, giving his opinions about what Nancy Pelosi and Adam Schiff are saying. He's basically commenting as we go. It's like watching a football game, and like people are like, "Oh, good pass," on Twitter.
Right.
I mean, who has time to do this unless you are so overly concerned about this? So he wrote the do nothing. This is one of his multiple tweets on Twitter.
Oh yeah, he was going.
The do nothing Democrats should be focused on building up our country, not wasting everyone's time and energy on bullshit. Bullshit being in capital. He wished he had the bullshit buzzer, which is what they've been doing ever since I got overwhelmingly elected. Get a better candidate this time. You're going to need it. I'm gonna tell you something. If he ain't worried, the fact that he is writing bullshit in capitals and then tweeting and commenting along the press conference, man is worried.
Boy is scared.
We were saying this yesterday. You corner him, and he's going to become a wild animal.
Right after this happened.
Yeah.
If this wasn't bad enough, let's go through what happened by noon.
Right.
Okay? We're going to subpoena the records of the White House.
Right.
All right? Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi having a press conference on where they are with the impeachment. Donald Trump live tweeting comments about this. Several minutes after this press conference ended, Stephen Linick, he is the State Department Inspector General.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the guy who is the police, the internal police for the State Department.
Right.
Okay. He's supposed to be independent. He sent an emergency email to both the Republicans and Democrats in both the Senate and Congress and House of Representatives saying that he has information that must be disclosed immediately that is pertinent to the Ukraine investigation. He met with major members of both Democrat and Republican caucus, both Senate and House of Representatives behind closed doors. Nobody knows what information he provided, but obviously it's something regarding Mike Pompeo, who's the State Department head. He was on that telephone call with the Ukraine. Okay. After that, it has now come out that Adam Schiff, later today, around 3-4 o'clock, it's like every hour. It's like as the world turns. It's like, that's what I'm saying. I feel like I'm in the Truman Show.
Absolutely.
All right, that somebody's punking me.
Yeah.
Okay. That Adam Schiff's lieutenant, one of his underlings who works in Adam Schiff's office, knows the whistleblower. And the whistleblower went to this underling, and Adam Schiff was aware of this whistleblowing complaint before it happened. That's the allegation.
Right.
Donald Trump has now tweeted, not more than 45 minutes ago, that Adam Schiff committed treason and should go to jail because he helped write the whistleblower complaint, which is a hoax.
Right.
In essence, that Adam Schiff has made this whole thing up.
Right.
That is now what is going on as of the moment. Now, there's no evidence that Adam Schiff knew about the whistleblower, and if he did, there's certainly no evidence that he helped write the complaint. Now, in addition to all of this, the House has issued subpoenas for both State Department records, Mike Pompeo records, and Rudy Giuliani, who replaced Cohn as Donald Trump's personal lawyer.
Right.
All of this in one day, with Mike Pompeo saying, "Oh yeah, I was on the telephone call," after he said he wasn't during that whole entire time.
Right.
Now, I saw on the subway.
Yeah.
Okay, that New Yorkers, have you seen this on the subway? Just the ads started going up this week. New York subway riders have been greeted by a new ad. It's in It's in many of the subways, not all of them, hyping, quote, crazy Rudy Giuliani's law office.
Oh, really?
Yes.
No, I haven't seen.
Basically, he's really off the rails. Now, this is a satirical ad. It's not obviously an ad for Rudy Giuliani's law office, but it's a satire on all the lawyer ads that are on the subways.
Of course.
And it was spotted on the A train. And literally, this ad was on the A train on Tuesday. And it features Rudy Giuliani with his tongue out and a website called www.crazyrudylaw.com. Now, the ad's phone number leads to a belligerent voicemail. All right, somebody from the office called the voicemail to see what it was.
Yep.
All right, and it says, this guy starts screaming at you. You have called the law offices of Crazy Rudy. We specialize in back channel deals, cable news appearances, and we work when we're drunk. Now, according to the ad, Giuliani also works for free. He has no shame. The web address at the bottom of the subway poster, which is www.crazyrudylaw.com, leads people to a website detailing the services of the Crazy Rudy Law Group. I thought that was quite funny.
People go so hard. And do you these made me think of the Cohen ones that came out. Do you remember the Cohen ones?
By the way, these ads on the subway are expensive, so whoever's doing it...
They are.
Yes, they're very expensive.
There is no way that they are paying for them. I think that this is somebody printing stuff out and then putting it up.
I've seen people just like open the little plastic.
In the same way that Bill is looking for an unexperienced home care worker for $18 an hour, I think that this is the same thing.
Yeah, probably the FDA probably would not have approved that ad. Now that I'm thinking about it. Right. In other crazy news, the New York Times reported today that right around the time that Secretary Nielsen was dismissed as the head of the Department of Homeland Security, Trump didn't like her because she was a Bush appointee and she was a Bush supporter and she actually was in Jeb Bush's campaign. And it was only after Jeb Bush dropped out that she joined the Trump campaign, eventually became head of the Department of Homeland Security. Donald Trump was having a fit. It's reported in the New York Times last year that he ran on stopping immigration.
Right.
Yet immigration is still happening. And he said if we can't build a wall, and this is reported in the New York Times, several people heard it, he wanted to dig a moat and put deadly snakes and alligators in the moat.
Yes.
So that way, if you have to cross the water, you will be killed by the deadly snakes and animals. A real suggestion by Donald Trump.
Right.
Crazy.
He then said, when that was shot down, he then said, okay, we're going to build a fence, but we're going to electrify it. Anybody who touches it gets electrocuted.
Right.
And even if you get to the top, there's going to be big knives on the top that will basically, like from the Middle Ages, that would just come down and slice you in half. But nobody is getting over this fence. That was also shot down as illegal. But he said, and right after that is when he fired the Department of Homeland Security Chief Kristen Nielsen, because he said, I ran on stopping immigration to America. It was my #1 priority, and nobody in this room is doing anything about it. I'm paraphrasing what the New York Times said. So that's when everybody got fired, and that is when this family separation began.
Right.
And that is now according to the New York Times.
Wow.
And, well, it got even more. The family separation got even as a... Family separation, Jill is in my ear, family separation was happening, yes, but it became a policy at that point. But Kristen Nielsen was not separating people. It was after that it happened.
Wow.
Meanwhile, Florida yesterday has now a ban on sanctuary cities. So everywhere you are in the state of Florida, the police must cooperate now with Immigration Customs Enforcement. If they come across somebody who is out of status, it was not documented, they must hand them now over by law to Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Now, the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, says he made passing the ban a campaign promise, and he says it's going to make communities safer.
Right.
That is not going to make communities safer.
No.
It's actually going to make communities more dangerous. Why? Because if you're undocumented, you're a person of color, you're a minority, you have a foreign accent, you have a foreign name, you are less likely to call the police because you don't want to be ensnared in any situation, or maybe you're okay, but maybe your family member's not okay. So now there will be lots of crimes in Florida that do not get reported. There will be lots of homes on fire Nobody's going to call the fire department.
Right.
There's going to be people who need help in an ambulance. They're going to die at home.
Sheesh.
So this is not making communities safer. The whole idea behind a sanctuary city is that vital services, whatever they may be, police, medical, fire, are provided to everybody, because that would make every community safer.
Right.
And when certain members of a community are scared to call a fire, are scared to call the police, are scared to call for medical help, that makes everybody less safe, not more. And that's a sad day for Florida. Trump administration last week posed an 18,000 person limit on refugees to the United States this year. If you remember, under Obama, it was over close to 100,000 refugees coming in per year. It is now 18,000. Last year was 30,000. They are going to cut it down to almost nothing year by year. Good news for New Yorkers. If you are an immigrant in New York City and you are not a U.S. citizen, and somebody threatens your landlord, your neighbor, your relative to call ICE on you, that is now a crime.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes, and you can go, and that person who threatens or calls ICE on somebody just because they are an immigrant can go to jail, can be fined up to $250,000.
Wow.
Now, this guidance applies to businesses, restaurants, fitness clubs, all public employment and housing, and it tends to end all sorts of discrimination in New York City. Mayor de Blasio tweeted, "If you want to come to the ultimate city of immigrants and try to spread hate, you will face the consequences."
Good.
This is crazy how it's really on two ends of the spectrum. Out of Florida, it's like, if you are an immigrant, don't call the police. They will not help you.
Correct.
And in New York, it's like, if you are an immigrant, everyone will help you, whatever you do.
Correct. Now, just before we got on the air, the ex-cop in Dallas, Amber Guyger.
Guyger,
She was sentenced to 10 years in jail.
Ridiculous.
For walking into a man's home without permission, unannounced, basically breaking into the guy's house. Guy's watching Netflix, eating ice cream, shoots him dead cold. He was doing nothing wrong other than eating ice cream, watching Netflix, and having black skin.
That's it.
That is basically the facts of the case. And he was from St. Lucia. He was an accountant. He never posed a threat to this police officer. He's never been arrested. He never committed a crime. By all accounts, a decent, moral human being. And even if he wasn't, he still wasn't doing anything to her. There's no record of him and her ever having any sort of relationship, a fight, nothing. And she claims she thought she was walking into her apartment and saw a burglar.
And then
now I want you to know something.
I got a lot.
If Botham Jean, that was his name, who got killed, if he, as an immigrant from St. Lucia, walked in to Amber Guyger's apartment, mistakenly believing it was his apartment, and shot Amber, a black immigrant, shooting a 31-year-old white single blonde female. He would be the poster boy for Donald Trump.
Absolutely.
And he would have gotten electrocuted.
He would have never seen the light of day again.
He would have light of day. He would be in heaven or hell, depending what you believe in. But he would have been given the electric chair, because I believe in Texas they still have capital murder in Texas. I know that for a fact. He would have. And now in reverse, white woman with blonde hair, young 31-year-old walks into a black man's home, shoots in cold murder to only get 10 years. And he's an immigrant. It is a very sad day for America that the value of a black man sitting in his home has a different is only 10 years in jail. But if it was a white woman and the roles reversed, he would have gotten electrocuted. And we have a long way to go, unfortunately, in America.
And just like the point you made before the show when we were talking about this, because we were all kind of fuming when we heard the sentence, she's never going to serve 10 years. She'll never serve the full decade.
I don't know what probably 2/3.
Right.
You know, in New York it would be 2/3. I don't know what the deal is in Texas.
She's 31 right now. She's going to be out before her 40th birthday. This woman is going to still be able to have a long and happy, fruitful life, and she took a man's life with impunity. This is disgusting.
You know, and DB, and I neglected to say, and Yonathan, I think you pointed this out before the show because we were all talking about this before the show. DB just reminded me, because you said it to me as well, that her sentence, you know, DB is saying her sentence is ridiculous because she even admitted that she watched him die, and she's a cop, she knows CPR, and never even tried to save him.
She had the nerve to say that she forgot how to do CPR.
Right.
She's a cop.
Right.
You're a police officer.
A police officer.
I don't understand how she gets 10 years. What was the mitigating factors that the judge decided? Because the judge has, you know,
it was the jury. The jury hands down the sentence.
Oh, it wasn't sentenced by the judge.
No, the jury handed down the sentence.
But the judge can change it.
I think the judge can, but they went with what the jury handed down, I believe.
Really?
Yeah. So, and they had the ability, and I wanna look this up. They had the ability of doing like a 5 to 10 years based off some sort of like impassion, like if it was some sort of crime of passion. But prosecutors were like, she never knew him, he didn't know her. This wasn't a crime of passion.
Are you sure the jury determined the
sentence?
The
jury was deliberating all day for the last 24 hours.
The sentence on how many years you go to jail?
Yeah, that's why they did testimonies with the family, talking about how it had affected them.
All right. Well, here's some good news at least. I don't know if you saw this. There was this guy, the Iowa State football game. His name is Carson King, and they had the television cameras for the pregame show. And he put up a sign, and it said, "Busch Light Supply needs replenishment," and gave a Venmo account to send the money.
Right.
He put this up, you know, it's like the announcer's like, yeah, we're at the game. The kickoff's going to be in 15 minutes. It's going to be a great game. We got Iowa State versus whoever they're playing.
Right.
Iowa's in the black jerseys and Michigan's in the white jerseys. And there's a football and they try to score touchdowns, whatever they're talking about.
Right.
And this guy just holds up a sign in the back. And money started pouring in so he can get his beer replenished.
What?
Right.
He started getting he got $38,000 before the end of the game. In total, from that one sign, his account reached by individual donations $920,112. $920,000. Now, when Venmo found out, and Busch Light Beer found this out as well, he didn't keep any of his money for his beer. He donated every penny, $920,112. He donated to the University of Iowa Stead Family Children's Hospital.
Wow.
When Busch Light Beer found out, they matched it.
Wow.
And donated $920,112 as well. And then when Venmo found out, they also donated $920,112.10 to the Children's Hospital in Iowa. And for that one sign, this man raised $2.9 million for the University of Iowa Family Children's Hospital.
Wow.
Is that unbelievable?
That's $3 million off of a Sharpied halftime
Is that crazy?
That's poster.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And for all those who are definitely curious, I'm going to go ahead and drop my Venmo handle right in the comments
I'll
right
put
now.
my Cash App just in case y'all don't have Venmo.
Also PayPal. Venmo
why don't you just give wire instructions, Belgium Kim?
Nah, I don't need to go that deep. At Kimberly Moore -5.
Zelle, if you guys have Zelle.
Also, yes, we're so flexible with how we accept payments.
Thanks for watching. For more Brad Show Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.